Ladies and gentlemen, we are here, ELF Live, presented by Euronics. We are here. I am Jarvis McClam. I am filling for Nick today. He is traveling back to Germany, so I'm filling in for him. We still have Matt Bressington here. Matt, what's up, man?
Not too bad. That was a quick intro. I know that's perfectly done. I like that. That was great. But let me do the old housekeeping just because Nick will get on me if I don't do it. We are currently live simultaneously on multiple platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And also, of course, we'll be live again for the Friday ones and everything. But watch the relives as well. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We have a ton of stuff to get into today with Science Center, game previews, fantasy football. Hello to everyone in the chat. Of course, I see some very regular people. We got John Jenkins, got Pedia, got obviously Alex Malchow. We've got Ricardo as well. So hello to everyone. Good morning to everyone, or afternoon. It might be really early morning for the Americans. But how are you, Jarvis, first and foremost?
I'm great, man. Been living good. Life is great. Had a great weekend watching football this weekend, man. How are you, bro?
I'm real good, and of course, Science Center is my favorite part, and that's the stuff we've got first as well, which I am very excited about because there's some very interesting players. Of course, though, some IR issues with some teams. Of course, starting off with our first piece of the Science Center, we have Thunder placing Russian running back Gennady Adams on IR, which is a shame. Had some moments with the Berlin Thunder, but of course, they were never really utilizing their run game that much. I can't lie. So we didn't get to see the full extent of him with the Berlin Thunder. But what they do here, Jarvis, they got a minimal run game already. They've got an injured running back. Their quarterback Jacob Sullivan exited the last game with an injury. What are you doing if you're the GM of the Berlin Thunder in this situation?
Right now, I'm trying to find anyone I can in Europe that can run the ball. Obviously, they have second string running backs, of course. Put them in the mix, see how they do. It's okay if they don't do well, but still try and get them in the mix, and maybe something will pop out. Maybe they have a breakout game. We're going to see, man.
Absolutely, because you got people like Emil Fuchs, who was on the nominations for Rookie of the Year last year, so they definitely have depth in that position. I just want to see them push them. I'm a talent development guy, Jarvis, so I like seeing these young guys push. So that's a big thing for me. But of course, not the end of the IR, because also Malik Crenshaw from the Verheervar Enthroners also going on to IR. The off the edge linebacker has had 5 sacks his career. Actually, a bit of a turnover creator as well, with a couple of forced fumbles and an interception. Has struggled with injuries in both seasons. I think last year was his hand. He had like a Jason Pierre-Paul kind of club style hand last year. This year, also just gone onto IR. It's another injury on a team that has already kind of struggled this season, Jarvis. And same question, really, because of course they've been very much instrumental of having 2 defensive ends and 2 defensive linemen.
Yes.
Do you think it's the right call? Do you think they should continue doing this way, or do you think they should try and mix it up?
I think it's something they've been doing, so I think they should just keep it the way it is. Like, if it's not broke, don't break it. So just keep it the way it is, man.
I mean, is it working though? Is it you say don't break if it ain't if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
But it's up in the air. It's tough for me, man. It's tough. I don't know. It's tough.
That's a fair point. Oh, as Malchow, Berlin needs to sign Marjo London. That'd be pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. That would be
crazy.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh, can you imagine that? But the Enthroners have made the adjustment. They brought in a new player, which is Gavin Potter, former Division 1 linebacker. He's only 24 years old, bear in mind. He's literally just finished college. D1 guy, played all over, played at Kansas, played at Arkansas, played at Tulsa as well. Great athlete from his pro day numbers. And from just the tape, you could see very explosive pass rusher, great swim move, really good at going inside the offensive line. Do have doubts in the coverage ability because a lot of his highlights are, well, all of his highlights are him just coming out the middle. The tape that I could find, footwork not phenomenal. So I think I'm really hoping they don't try and turn him into a defensive end because I'm really hoping they just let him be in the middle because he's only 24. I think I'm going to be making these kind of comparisons. Some people don't like comparisons, but a scout, there's a little bit of AJ Wentland in him when it comes to some of his explosiveness. So that would be an exciting one for them. Then again, I'm going to ask you in a second because we got another Enthroners player that's just been signed, and I'll ask you as a collective. because they've also signed John Cole, former Ravens receiver turned defensive back, started off the year for them, didn't pop off statistically as a receiver. They bring in someone else, and he comes back with IR issues as a defensive back, plays defensive back for the rest of the year. Having that versatility, having a linebacker come in, which is able to maybe transition to a defensive lineman, how important is that versatility, experience in multiple positions from a football perspective, in your opinion?
I think it's going to be great for them. John Cole was a fantastic receiver. I think he was great with the Ravens, but also he can play defense as well. And also the linebacker you mentioned, D1 guy. He's young. He's 24. He can fly around, just like you said. He reminds you of AJ Whitland. So if you put him in the mix, if you keep him out linebacker, he's going to do what he does. He's young, like I said. He will fly around and he will get you the tackles. So.
Yeah, I mean, Elefopedia just pointed out that, and me and you talked about it in the pre-show. The idea of using a homegrown quarterback, because Hegedus had an up and down game last game, took a lot of damage, but two potential American receivers. I don't remember the last time I saw two American receivers and a homegrown quarterback. It's a risk. I do applaud the Enthroners for just taking risks. I think it's fun. Like, it's squad building that is fun. But two American receivers, they don't really have much of a run game. They never really have as a team. So, I mean, weapons galore, right?
Yes.
I mean, does this create a bit of as an American receiver yourself, you've played as that A spot with multiple teams in ELF. Do you think that's going to cause maybe conflict with who's getting targets, or do you think it'll just be good to have an American on each side of the field?
I don't think it will cause any conflict for the offense. I think mostly for the defense, trying to stop them, because now you have to pick and choose, usually American on American now. So it's like I feel like it would open up the run game, because now you have to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to guard my 2As or what we're going to do. So I don't think it'll be in conflict at all.
I love that. And then Maxi, of course, coming in from the ELF, since 2022 C levels, of course, with CSA. And then they had that was an interesting one. They all the way up to the final, but he had less passing attempts than Glenn had rushing attempts. So they were completely just running the rock. But while talking on quarterbacks, your former team, the Raiders Tyrrell, bringing in former Raiders quarterback and Cozy Perry to cover for Conor Miller's IR placement. He's a former Miami U quarterback. He led an amazing comeback against Munich in his debut, one of the best debuts that we've seen. Like, he was like really, really, really damn good. And then goes out with kind of like a bit of a soft pop rather than a bang because they played so badly against Munich in the playoff, like, decider.
Yeah.
That was, he had an up and down year, but ultimately did show the flashes. For you, is this an improvement? Because I've had a lot of people messaging me this throughout the week. Is it an improvement over Conor Miller? Is it a downgrade? Is it static movement? And now I'm putting you on the spot here with quarterback valuation. But where do you see this?
I think it's okay for the Raiders because he knows the playbook. You know what I'm saying? He's been there before. He knows the guys. He knows the atmosphere. And it's going to be a tough one this week. And I feel like he's good for the Raiders. He's going to get the job done. And we're going to see how it goes.
I mean, Max, he's pretty brave. He's put the Raiders' first W against the Vikings. We'll get to the game previews very soon, but that's an interesting call. One of the penultimate signings is Centurions signing Juan Lua from college as well. Another guy that's just coming in. Former Dresden Monarch, also former CFL guy. Played at UMass, aggressive on the ball. Good make-up speed, started in press coverage. I think he's kind of what they need because they need someone on the line that's going to disrupt timings, especially when that defensive line is not getting that much pressure. It is Cologne. We've been critical to say the least with this one, because they've got such a weird team. But he is a young player, and I think you just talked about talent development. I think this is good to bring in young Americans because he is still in his early 20s to have guys that could potentially be playing next year. So I do like this signing, but we've obviously seen a lot of guys that are Americans in this league stay in one spot for a year or stay and then they move to a different team or the team just moves on to a really, really good player just because they think the grass is greener. What's your opinion on Americans staying multiple years in one team, trying to build that team together, or from a team perspective or from a player perspective? Because there's a lot of different angles to this.
I think it just shows loyalty. Some guys just want to move around. Like you said, the grass could be greener, but it also can't be greener somewhere else, But I think it shows loyalty for guys to stay in one spot and help build a program. And I think it will feel better to know that you helped build something if you potentially win a championship. So I think it's just all about loyalty at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that goes both ways too. Because some teams should be more loyal to players that have proven they'd be really good. But
That's
that's something I could talk about for hours. I'll move straight into the last of the signing center, Sassan Giovani, a player that I'm a big fan of, has reinforced the surge, which is fascinating because he is a former all-star in this league. People were critical of the linebacker core for the surge, but has exceeded expectations. Now you add in a player that does a little bit of everything. He can play off the edge, he can play middle, he can play outside. A very versatile defender. We just talked about versatility on the defense, but with the surge being a contender, they dropped a game against Paris. With this signing of another all-star level player, are Surge back to number one in the power rankings? Do you think they've got a win against Munich that we'll talk about in a minute to get back up there? How do you think this propels them into next year?
I mean, obviously, this game is going to be the deciding factor if it's going to be number one, like you said. But I think this is a great signing. He's definitely going to help the defense. Not that the defense needs it. It's just like it's another great signing, another add-on to the piece. Getting more fresh guys. You can exchange bodies like that. So I think it's a great signing for the team.
Yeah, definitely. But we've talked about signs. Now we got to talk about the games. What we all come here for. I'm sure everyone's excited. 7 of the highest quality games. Have we got the full thing up here we can get real quick just so I can show the people what games we got going on? Here we go. Here's the slate of games we're going to look at. So make sure you stay and watch the whole show so you get all of them, of course. Starting with the Berlin Thunder and the Hamburg Sea Devils. This one is an interesting case of 2 German rivalries as well, of course. This one, key player-wise, we'll start with Berlin. Sullivan is the big one. Got hurt last week. Need to see if he can come back stronger. He has had statistically an okay season, a bit unremarkable. You have him really, really highly in your quarterback rankings as to other teams and other players. How do you think he gets it done against the very hard defense, the Hamburg Sea Devils?
I mean, I feel like it's going to be tough for him, but at the end of the day, it can still get done. Just play your game, even though you lost some key potential players, key spots. But I feel like you just play your game, things will go your way, and good things should happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we flash up the keys to success, like they need to be aggressive on the ball. I think they've had a lot of turnovers, of course, but they need to use that speed in offense. They got people like Bias Kuyenda, who is a very fast receiver, but again, he struggled with issues and injuries. But they do have a very fast team at some of these elements. Tyler Foster, of course, I just didn't leave out on him. Like they can use that against Hamburg, but when it comes to Hamburg's key players, the big one, like I just said, is Talia Tuivasa-Loga. Not an impressive debut. Some people gave us a little bit, well, they gave me a little bit of slack for being a bit heavy on his debut. But it wasn't a good showing. He does have 2 star defenders as well, Nazir Streeter and Carl Kitchens. But this is an easier, I guess, sophomore game for Talia. And of course, the keys to success are that he needs to turn up if they're gonna do it. But this second game for him, what are your expectations?
I think it's going to be a way much better game for him. The first game, I feel like it's more nerves, basically just coming off the plane, really, like just thrown in the fire. You still have to work those things out. And I feel like he had a great practice this week. And I feel like he's going to go out there and do his thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the Surge is such a tough team to come in and play your first ever, like he's been here a couple weeks. Crazy. Honestly, you probably couldn't ask for a worse team to play against in your first game. So that's really, really tough. But Elaphopedia in the comments, Sullivan always found solution, but his team is too weak as a whole. I would agree with that. I do agree with that. I'm assuming that means he's going to go for Hamburg Sea Devils on his prediction, but more importantly, no offense to you, I love you, Elaphopedia. Who are you going for, Jarvis?
This week, I'm going to go with the Hamburg Sea Devils this week, man.
I think I'm going to agree. I think a lot of people would. It's a tough game for Berlin, especially away, but we'll see how they get it done. Game 2, very exciting one. This is one we've been building up.
Yes, sir.
The Austrian rivalry, the Austrian Bowl. I'm not sure if it has any more regional names. You'll be able to tell me more about that, or if anyone in the comments has any more specific Austrian names for this one. But I'm really excited about this. The Raiders are 2-1. They've had some definite flashes against the Vienna Vikings, who are undefeated after beating the Rhein Fire, which is a big game. And the key players for the Raiders, of course, is multiple. But I think the most interesting one here is Nkosi. I know we've just talked about another quarterback, and I know that's 3 quarterbacks in a row we're talking about, but this is a guy who's just coming back into the system. We talked about hard debuts. No, it's not a debut, but to come against Vienna, it's tough. it's really, really tough. And I think the key to success is they got to keep the ball on the ground. What do you think about that?
I think, sure, like keep the ball on the ground, but also Perry has to show up. It is the Vikings, but I feel like they can get the job done. And also, Bonatti, like you said, keeping the ball on the ground, man. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it, man.
Exactly. I mean, we saw even last week that Vitmia, he was like the 4th or 5th string running back at 100 yards. So the depth of the position is incredible.
Yes.
They can always rely on a solid run game. Most of the time in week 1 they didn't, but usually, they will be able to rely on a really, really good run game. For the Vikings, of course, again, a plethora of players we could highlight for the key ones. And I'm going to go something different to Ben Holmes because we just did quarterbacks. I'm going to go for the 2 edges. Aaron Donkour, Lucky as well. I'm a massive Lucky fan. I know you are as well. I think I know he's playing defensive end this year. He's one of the best stack players in the league. When he was playing line, but also former Raider, while we're adding a little bit of extra heat to the pan, he's one of my favorite Europeans to play the game. I think he's fantastic. I want to know your opinion as well on him because he's amazing.
I mean, Lucky, man, he's young, he's fast, he's strong, he's physical. One of the best players that I played with. And like most people don't know, maybe you do know, I played with the Raiders, and this is a tough game. Every time the Raiders play the Vikings, it's straight seriousness in the locker room. But I think Lucky's definitely a great player, and we're going to see what he's going to do this weekend.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the keys to success as well is to tighten up the pocket with those 2 edges because Nkosi likes to move out of the pocket. We know that.
Yep.
You compress that space, he's going to get more uncomfortable. At the same time, you compress that space in the pocket, their run game isn't going to work as much. You've got 2 of the 2 best European edges.
Yep.
Generally, you got Donkour, spent some time with the Seahawks, and obviously Lucky. We just talked about him. So it's a phenomenal group. Lots of people here going for the Raiders in the comment section. Who are you going for?
I'm going to go Vikings, man.
Oh, a former Raider going Vikings.
I know they hate to see it, but I'm going to go Vikings, man.
I think I agree. The home field advantage sells it for me. I do think the Raiders have been doing well, and they have obviously picked up a bit of form. Big win against Cologne. They able to kind of just get a bit more moving, a bit of momentum. But I think you're right. I don't think the Raiders do that next week. But next time we're giving a battle to watch. Okay, so Aiden Stevenson's going for like Vikings now, and then like Raiders maybe next time. So that's an interesting point.
Maybe, yep.
Potentially. But we also have not just that one fantastic games. We have more fantastic games throughout the week. Another one, Braavos versus Enthroners. Now, I think this one has a lot more connotations than people realize because this could be really good for the Braavos in propelling themselves towards a playoff spot. The key position for them, who I like, and I know you'll like too, is Aaron Cruikshank. He has been so damn good. He might be the best receiver in the league at the moment. In his debut season, we reached that also in his debut season. With Yang, who I'm a massive fan of as a defensive back, also in his debut season. So there's a lot of like stuff going on with players in their first year. I think the Madrid Braavos probably have the most new stars in the league. And I really, really want to see, and I want to talk about simulated pressures because I'm a football guy. So simulated pressures, when you send just unusual pass rusher. You're not sending more than 4, so it's a normal pressure. You just send them at different angles and create simulated pressures. I think you need to do that to Hegedus because he is not an American quarterback with tons of experience of reading defenses. The Braavos have struggled defensively in allowing big score lines. I think you send those similar pressures. I think it's going to make Hegedus really uncomfortable. You have the 2 Americans at receiver, but if you can't get to the ball to them, I think that's going to cause issues. And I think Braavos are going to be able to do that on defense because we look at the key players for the Enthroners. 2 of them are American receivers. Goran Zek as well. He's been in and out because of just, it's he's a very good player, but he's been in and out of the games. For them, though, I don't think you could play man coverage against Cruikshank because he is just so fast.
He's fast, man.
He's so fast. Is he your favorite receiver in the league at the moment? Again, I'm putting you on the spot with
Ooh.
that one.
I mean, at the moment, I'm gonna say yes at the moment because, like, obviously, I'm an offensive guy. I like to see points. I like to see celebrations after every catch. He's doing something that I like, something that I would do. So he's definitely fun to watch. So I'll say he's one of my favorite receivers at the moment, man.
He's so fast. Like I knew coming in he would be quick because he had such a good shuttle time, but
Yep.
his cuts are like he's shown why he's an NFL, practice squad level guy. Like he's shown that he is honestly rapid. I mean, you're getting called into by Jamal Jarvis and Andrew Wandinger as a player coach combination that we'll get to fantasize about. I mean, maybe in an alternate world that would have been
Yeah.
pretty fun. But prediction wise, who are you going for this one?
I'm picking the Madrid Braavos for this one, man.
I think I'm going to agree. How many points do you think they're going to put up offensively?
I'm 50 ball, man. 50.
50? You're going to go 50? Oh,
Yeah.
Shout out New Jersey from Jamal as well. I don't think he's ever missed an opportunity to shout out New Jersey. I don't even think you're from Maryland.
I'm from Maryland.
Okay. But anyway, speaking more into the game that I'm really excited about is my Prague Lions taking on the Ingolstadt Panthers. And I think this one's going to be really interesting. Generally, this one is one of my favorite games of the week on like a low-key radar kind of position. The key players for the Panthers, Andrew Zelka had a great week last week, over 120 yards, touchdowns as well. Willie Patterson, another player that me and you are big fans of, very quick, very agile, very similar to Cruikshank in many ways. Ken Hike, he stepped up last week, couple big plays, interceptions, Dr. French as well, so some really, really big plays. The keys for them, I think it's very evident, is just to contain DJ Irons at running quarterback. I'm not going to lie, the Panthers offense has not been fantastic. Like, it's been okay, it's had some moments. They haven't passed the ball massively, and they've not been giving Zozo the ball enough, in my opinion. So that's a big thing. But also the special teams, you cannot kick to Devin Burrell. Like, we know that. You know that. I know that. My mum probably knows you can't kick to Devin Burrell. And then the Prague Lions special teams last week blocked punt, also a return from Willie Patterson. So this is a very niche area of the game that I think is going to be really, really imperative to this one. What do you think of that? Because you're also a guy that's playing special teams, one of the best special teams players we obviously had over the last couple of years. How big of an impact does it make?
I mean, special teams is a game changer. You always have to make sure everyone's accounting for it, everyone's running down their lanes. And if one person mess up, it could be a touchdown, it could be a block punt, it could be a block field goal. So special teams is very important in today's game, man. You always got to make sure you're doing your job, man. Always.
It's such a momentum change too. Like you get a block punt and it like that could just swing everything. I remember even games I played when I was younger. We had like a block. We were down the dumps, block field goal, return for a touchdown, and all of a sudden it's just a scoring output burst. So it could be huge. But the key players for the Panthers as well. We just talked about Dan Burrell. Not the only one, because Darryl Stewart has also been in fantastic form this year, being one of my favorite receivers as well. So many great receivers in this league, honestly. And then David Brzezowski. I don't think he's been able to flourish as much, in all honesty. I'm not sure if that's because teams are committing more to the run of the Panthers now, but he had, I think, a low game last week. He didn't have like a ton of yardage, and I want to see him more involved. I think you've got to get the ball to him early. That's one of the keys to success for me. It's because getting the ball early, it softens up the defense. It causes body blows. They're going to have to come in. It opens up the space for the pass as well because they need to stretch the field to the deep balls. This is something that they could have with Stewart, who is an amazing deep ball receiver. But I think most importantly, Jarvis, we've talked about it. The Panthers have a tendency to lose the red. I'm not going to lie. We've seen players making comments, of course, but they cannot let this get to them. Like, this is football. It's a physical game. If you're getting your feelings hurt in the middle of the game, no one cares. play the game. This is a tough part of football. And in a close game like this, you need to be locked in and focus because this could be big for both. If Panthers lose this, it's going to be. I don't think Prague have never beaten Panthers. but it's always been very close, and I think that's a big one.
Yep.
Who are you going for in this tie contest?
I have to go with John B. Jenkins. I'm going with the Panthers, man.
I'm going to go against you. I know no one saw that coming.
Yeah.
I'm going for the Prague Lions. I think this one's going to be really close.
Yeah.
Granted, I think either team could win it. I know that some of the Panthers players are going to be frustrated with this pick, but again, this is a very, very close game. There's no wrong decision in a close game. It's just a close game, So if we had to pick a score deficit, I would go Panthers win by Prague win by 4. I think it's going to be close.
4. I might say even 2, man.
2. Oof, maybe a game-winning field goal punt or something like that. That'd be pretty great.
Special teams, man.
Yeah, exactly. I think this game is definitely going to come down to special teams, and I think another game that's going to come down to the very wire again. Great transition, I know. Is the Paris Musketeers versus Rhein Fire. Of course, this one came down to that game-winning interception by Famor Simon. We were already getting a rematch. We're still early in the year. We're getting this rematch, which is an absolute treat. The Musketeers, of course, 1-2. One of the hardest schedules we've ever seen from a team to start the ELF season, especially with Jaden Henderson. Karamoko has been great at the safety position, definitely elevated himself as one of the best safeties in the league following the CFL stint. And then Austin Mitchell, another receiver. I know you've all heard it before. Another receiver me and Jarvis are a fan of because it's just this many receivers. Very much that speed prototype with great cuts. The keys to the game, it's limiting those turnovers. Of course, over the last couple of weeks, turnovers everywhere. But I think the run offense rather, is a factor because it's not really done much. It's been only really Jalen running the ball. So from an offensive perspective, again, I'm going to ask you, when you're a receiver and the running game just isn't working, how do defenses treat you differently as a receiver in a line?
I mean, you're basically getting double team, really, because it's like, all right, bet the run's not working. We're just going to focus on you, take you out the game completely. So it's definitely tough as an American receiver, but that opens up your other receivers as well. That means your other receivers have to eat. Your other receivers have to get those tough yards, catch the ball when it's needed to be caught. So it's definitely tough when the run game's not working.
Yeah, for sure. And then they've got so many great receivers as well. They could step up. We saw that last week with Tekenham, who looked great, and Kevin Mwamba at tight end as well. For the Rhein Fire, another receiver that stepped up last week was Rory Starkley. And there's a big, also congratulations to Amari Williams for breaking the all-time interception. I want to give you a quick shout for that, Amari. Very, very well done. The all-time ELF interception leader now. No Co anymore on that one, so he's up there with the very best. Top of the list. So he's done fantastic, and he's had a great start to this year as well. Defensively, they have been overall great, but the key for them is to start the offense. As you look at the last couple of games, they've only played 2, of course. We're in week 3, but they had a bye week last week, or week 4. They have not scored a ton of points. They need to get this offense cooking. Again, its run game has not been very good in the last couple, especially last week. Chad's the leading rusher last week by a mile. They don't really have much. They definitely, some people would be messaging me about Glenn Tonga leaving. That's definitely impacted. Chad's doing what he can in run game, but the other running backs need to step up. What are you maybe sleep? What are you thinking about them? Are you think they're a bit overrated because some people had them number 1? Are they underrated because now they're 1-1 and people are dropping them? Are they kind of somewhere in the middle? What is your feeling about the Rhein Fire?
I think they're somewhere in the middle because it's a new look for the Rhein Fire this year. It's like you don't have that explosive run game like you had before, and then people are still trying to figure it out. It's like, are they going to get over the hump? But I feel like this game right here is going to tell who's going to, eventually get up to the top spot, So I feel like the Rhein Fire just have to play their game. That's it, man.
Absolutely. And I think they can their defensive line's been phenomenal.
Yep.
I think they can just rush forward, drop 7. We saw that last week with the Galaxy, is they kind of didn't really need to send any blitzes because the Paris offensive line isn't very good. They dropped all these guys. I think they were at one point were just rushing 3 and dropped 8 into coverage. Yeah. So there was no space for receivers to find anything. I think we'll see that very similarly done with the Rhein Fire defense, which is fascinating. Overall, who are you going for?
I am taking the Rhein Fire, man.
Yeah, I agree. That home field advantage, we'll get to soon, is a big deal, especially with Rhein, because they've got such a phenomenal fan base. Keeping in Germany as well, heading down to Frankfurt. The Cologne Centurions taking on Frankfurt Galaxy. This one, for Cologne, we talked about talent development, we talked about pushing young players, and for them, the key players are those young guys that you need to just see. Are they going to be part of our team next season? Are they going to be part of the long-term framework of this team? That's a big one for them. And the key to success for them is got to be outside of just winning the game, because this is a chance to break everything, to use a quote from Vols with Formula One. Like, you're never going to have this opportunity again in many cases. You may as well just break everything. See if you can try something new every week. What works? Test it. See if it could be even better. If it's pre-game, if it's coaching, if it's medical staff, if it's your warm-up, if it's the music you're picking before the game. This is a chance to try things, see if it works, see if it doesn't work. This is a growth experience for them, because it's a tough position to be in, isn't it?
Very crazy position, man.
It is. And then the Galaxy, they coming in as a very, I don't want to say lucky team. I know Galaxy and me have other arguments. I'm obviously hyping up, so are they. But they had a very, very tight game against the Paris Musketeers. They win it on a game-winning field goal. Key player for me at the moment has been Toby Naylor. I played with Toby Naylor in high school. He's been absolutely everywhere, and for good and for bad, because he's not been perfect. I want to make that clear. When he's playing well, though, this team is elevated at the linebacker position. He does need, obviously, short missed tackles and stuff. We saw that when he lost against the Surge. That's a big deal. But when he plays well, like against Paris, they are just elevated. You can tell the defense is fired up when he's playing well, which is a big point. In terms of their keys to success, is these injuries. Again, we saw Sandro went out last game, and their offense took a big dip. Big dip. They were beating the brakes off Paris for the first 3 quarters. Sandro goes out, I think, at halftime, and they just kind of not fell apart, but they were noticeably not as good. And that's definitely got to be a factor for them, right?
Yeah, got to, man. To be up that much and then have the other team come back and almost potentially win the game is crazy. But we're going to see, man, what they can do this week.
Who you got?
Frankfurt.
Yeah. I know you're a Cologne guy. I know you like Cologne City as well. I know you're a fan of. I've only been there once, but I loved it when I was there. But I'm going to go for Frankfurt as well. I don't think anyone's going to question that one. But the last game, this one, I'm also very excited about. The schedule makers were so kind. The football schedule makers were so kind to us this week. It really were. Because we have the Munich Ravens going to the Stuttgart Surge. And if you're not excited about this game, you're not excited about European football, because this is going to be a cascade of footballing excellence for the Munich Ravens. To start with them, Malik Stanley, Russell Tabor as well. One of the most underappreciated defensive tackles in the league. The big one is that Tabor and Stanley connection. We knew Tabor had some really good points, some points he needed to improve. Young quarterback, 3-year deal, 22 years old, heard it all before. Malik Stanley, veteran of the league, absolutely massive receiver. Like, he's huge. So he is the perfect kind of complement to him. And the keys to success, I think, is against this Surge team, you have to kind of take what I've put an extra O in there just for just to nail it home. You need to take what you're given. You cannot be trying to push the Surge, because then you're going to get picked off. Like, you need to give what they get and then kind of move forward with that. You got to be patient. You don't want to rush the offense. Don't want to rush Tabor. What's your feelings on that?
Just like you said, man. Commit to the run, man. Commit to the run for the defense, or offense rather. And Tabor, I feel like he's a great quarterback. He's definitely going to throw the ball. As a receiver, that's what you love. And I feel like when Link Stanley loves it, because he's going to throw the ball to you, make you go up there and get it, man. So I feel like that's going to be great for the Ravens.
I mean, people saying Surge by far. So Karen's saying Ravens, you'll have Surge by far. We've got, actually might be quite the defensive battle. I agree. It's going to be actually a really good defensive battle. Speaking of defensive players, key player for the Surge, of course, got to be Raheem Wilson. I mean, what an impact last week. Gets himself a lot of attention for picking off Talia for that first pass. Gets the pick 6. One of, if not the best corners in the league. I don't think you played against Raheem, did you, when you played in ELF?
No.
But he is phenomenal. I know you're a big fan of Lewis Geyer as well, and Riley Hennessy, and how good that offense is. But like Karen said on the defense, And the key to success for the Surge, I think, is to get Tabor's inexperience. Tabor is still young. He has not played a ton of ELF football. You have one of the best defensive units in the league. You can throw some funky positions, move around the zone coverage. One of Tabor's knocks is that he doesn't read defenses that well. We saw that against the Raiders. This is an opportunity to make some serious plays. I think jumping routes, throwing in some unusual coverages just to try and maybe those similar pressures we talked about. That's going to be a big point for them in winning this game. You can't really go wrong with picking either of them, but who are you going to go for?
It's kind of tough, man, because it's like the Surge's defense. Like you said, they're a tough defense, man. Like sometimes they run with 3 safeties and they just roll the whole game. You never know what they're going to do. So it's definitely going to be tough on Tabor, and that's why I'm picking the Stuttgart Surge, man.
I like that. I'm going to go a little bit against you. I think I'm going to go for the Munich Ravens. You've been talking to me all week. Why are you never picking the Ravens? You don't pick the Ravens enough. Like you never pick the Ravens. This is your opportunity, fellas. If you don't get this one, I'm going to be furious because I've went for the Munich Ravens to win this one, and that's going to be a big deal. So that is our collection of games. You'll have a look here. If you had to pick one, you don't get to watch all of them this week, hypothetically. Of course, I know B and you are both going to be glued to our screens on Saturday, Sunday. If you had to pick one, which one would you watch?
Oh, definitely Surge Ravens, man. I feel like that's the game of the week. I feel like that's the game. Also, Paris and Fire, but I feel like Surge and Ravens is the game of the week because I think they're in the same division, right?
Yeah.
So whoever wins this game is going to be like, hey, we're number 1 now. We're the best. We run the division. So this is definitely the game of the week.
Yeah, but then you also got like Panthers versus Wroclaw. You've got the Austrian derby as well. Like we're spoiled for choice here. For sure. It's going to be too many options. But very quickly, we're going to take a break to show our sponsors, of course, of the ELF live show. So we'll be back in just 1 second.
The new intelligent Siemens IQ 700 washing machine. Own your time. Discover it at Euronics.
There we go. And my bad, not in the same division anymore. That was last year. We got our divisions the wrong way round. But it's all good. Still a massive matchup for them. Now, speaking of Euronics, of course, we have our question of the week sponsored by Euronics and Siemens. This one is an excellent one, and you're going to be instrumental to this, Jarvis. Our question of the week coming eventually somewhere on the screen there it is from AJ Mealing, another guy that I'm very familiar with. Shout out AJ, great receiver. Which ELF team has the best home field atmosphere and what makes it special? Like I said, Jarvis, this is all you on this one.
This is tough, man, because you got so many teams that have crazy fans. The atmospheres are crazy at most stadiums. So you have your Rhein Fire, your Paris Musketeers, your Vienna Vikings, your Raiders Tirol, even your Munich Ravens. Like the atmospheres are crazy there. But the team that I feel like the atmosphere was just crazy. I'm gonna say the Raiders Tirol, man. That I think it was week 8 or week 7 where we played against the Ravens actually. And we had to come back win, just like Cozy did the previous year. We had to come back win, and the atmosphere was just going nuts, man. The fans was crazy. So I'm going to say the Raiders definitely has a crazy atmosphere for the fans. But also, you got to give it up to the Rhein Fire, too. They're pulling in 10,000 fans every game. So it's tough to say. But for a personal experience, I'm saying the Raiders.
I think, you know what I love is how we've started to get ultras, like the Red Company in Paris. I love the whiteout game the Raiders did last year. We'll see more of that. I know that Frankfurt had their week last week. They played in the military uniforms. That was sick.
Also, my bad to cut you off. Even Frankfurt, man. Playing there is crazy. As a player, you can't hear anything. It is crazy, man. It is crazy.
I think obviously I've only ever been to one game, which is championship final, because I'm stuck in the UK, so I had to take a flight everywhere. But those Fire fans, they were different. You see them dressed up in the in like all the gear. They look phenomenal. Surge fans, I think they were at the awards. Every time there was a Surge player on the awards, they were screaming and shouting. So I think they deserve some credit as the top. I think there's so many great fan bases. We really are like
so
grateful for the fans that come up and make these games really, really special, because the atmosphere does make party experience. I imagine for a player as well, being in the middle of that must be great.
Yep. Crazy, man.
Okay, that is our question of the week presented by Euronics and Siemens. moving on to something I'm excited about is fantasy football, because this week I did quite well. I don't want to be that guy, but I did quite well. So fantasy football is presented by Citizen. You can join on the European League of Football website. Super easy. Takes 15 seconds to make. You build your team with 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, tight end, a flex position, kicker, and a special team / defensive unit. The gridiron coins, how you do it, gets 17 million. Prices go up and down for the players, so it fluctuates. So you could potentially be maybe trying to do some trading, get your team up throughout the year. That's always fun. The winner of each week gets a Citizen watch, which is incredible. I've not won. That's my motivation to win this year. I don't know how many watches on my arms at the moment. Neither do you. So maybe me and you both need to step up our fantasy game. We'll get to our teams in a second, but there's a ton of prizes throughout the year. Of course, we get second place gets ELF shop vouchers. Third place also ELF shop vouchers. If you get 160 points, this is one that excites me quite a lot. If you get 160 points in any week throughout the entire season, you are put into a raffle to win 2 VIP tickets for the championship game in Stuttgart. All you've got to do is get 160 points in any week. I've done it last week. I'm in the raffle. I'm sure a lot of people will be, because there's been some really, really high scorers this week and last week as well. Who is your fantasy pickups for this week, Jarvis?
I mean, obviously, I got my quarterback recenter right there, and also I'm going Crispy Kai, because he's a tough runner, man. He's a tough runner. I feel like he's gonna get the job done. Him and Lucas Candido, I feel like they're gonna share the time. And then my second running back, I'm going Tobias Bonatti, and then I got my Paul Leonhardt at receiver, Cruikshank obviously at receiver, then Levi John Cruz at tight end, and I got my kicker Rimler, and I'm going with the Hamburg's defense because I feel like it's going to be a shutout this week.
Oh, see, shoutouts are good, but sometimes you need defensive, scores, special team scores.
That's what I'm saying. So, hey, interceptions, you know what I'm saying? You never know.
Right,
punt returns.
Yeah. Oh, Nazir on the punt. Yep, I see.
See, look.
I see the vision. Let me think with my one, right? Let me show you what I'm cooking up here. So I agree with you on a lot of the picks. You've got Reed Sinet, of course, Chris Mackaya, one of the best rookie running backs as we've ever seen in the ELF. I predicted that, I'm just saying. Bonatti as well. I'm agreeing with you. I went for a different Frankfurt receiver. I went for Terry Wright for a few reasons, because Terry Wright was also on returns. He got a great return against Stuttgart. I think he's going to be instrumental. We're kind of waiting for him to kind of pop. He's showing flashes. I think he had one big catch against Paris that I think got caught back. I'm expecting more of that. Cruikshank, completely agree. John Levy Cruz been QB sneaking quite often recently, so I put him in there. Willie P as well, because I think he's such a versatile player. He's been a lot of running game, a lot of receiving deep, a lot of receiving short. He's been kind of the Prague's offensive unit at the moment. I'm expecting him to have a good game. I've got Aldous as well. I think that Panthers offense is good. They're going to be running a lot, and I think he's going to be in some good positions. And I got the Frankfurt Galaxy defense, because I think they could be getting up quite a lot of turnovers, quite a lot of points for my Galaxy defense. I've statistically done very well with picking my defense. Galaxy don't let me down now. They called me out on a video. I'm not sure if you saw Keanu Ebanks in his heel turn era. So that was fun. But that's any more final words for the fans, Jarvis, McClam? What do you have to say about this week? Round it up in just a couple of words for us.
All I gotta say is keep your eyes open this week. Hey, make sure you get that fantasy and keep your eyes open. It's going to be a lot of points. A lot of points.
Who do you think out of your fantasy is going to get the most points for you?
Oh, Cruikshank and Reed, man. For sure.
That's going to be a dynamic deal.
For sure.
That will be done for us today. Thank you, everyone who is watching on the relive. Thank you, everyone in the comment section. Thank you, Will Lytle, for worrying about my breakfast. I had not had anything yet. Still early in the morning. But that was a great show. Join us on Friday for the next one. It's going to be fantastic. Or Monday, rather. I shouldn't say. Today is Friday.
Yep.
Join us Monday after the week of ELF games. I'm really excited about to talk about and break it down. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to Jarvis. Thank you to Lucas, our producer, as well. Thank you very much. See you later. Goodbye.
Thank you.